right, Haley, looks like it's working. Okay, you badasses, let's do some expected value. We're doing a quarterback. What are the two things that can happen on a quarterback?
You can either win or lose.
You can win or you can lose. That's it, two options. Roulette's kind of nice that way. It's not like the homework, which was, I'm sure was a pain in your ass, where you got 16 different ways to win. Literally, like 16 different ways to win. Hopefully the video helped. Hopefully, he just walked you through it. But this one, you win or lose. One way to win, one way to lose. So, win, lose. If you win, what's the payout?
140.
Thank you. It's 140. They hand you 160, but you bet 20 bucks to play, right? So you have to account for that somewhere. In the homework, how did you account for it? Did you go back into the spreadsheet and knock everything down by $2? Because that'll totally work, right? That's awesome. That's exactly what it is. So you don't have to do it that way. There's a couple different ways you can do it. That's one way. Another way is, well, so yeah, if you win 140. What if you lose?
Negative 20.
Thank you, Nat. You just lose your ante, which is negative. Now you're in the hole. So you're in the hole before you play. That's the whole point of Vegas. The point of Vegas is to get you down and then give you the option or the choice or the possibility of climbing back up. All right, good. What are the probabilities? Yeah, this one here is 4 over 38. There's 4 spots, and Malia asked about the wheel. Is it the same wheel as last week? It is. It is. Alyssa, you noticed that there actually are 2 roulette wheels on Earth. There's the one we use, and then there's the English one that only has 1 green spot. But guess what? They adjust the payout, so you're still in the red on that one too. So yeah, we're using this one though, 4 out of 38, which means the chance of losing has to be
34 and 38.
You got it, Hill. Everything else, you either win or lose. We're going to come back to that idea over and over again today. Although the project is not about expected value, the idea of these two things adding up to 100% most definitely is. Morning, Jet.
Morning.
All right. So now we're going to do payouts times probs. All right. What do you get when you multiply 140 by 4/38? Give me maybe like 2 decimals, I guess, to cents.
14.6.
Say that again, Jordan. I didn't hear my friend.
1474.
1474. How's that sound, everybody? Love it. I've just rounded off to the nearest cent because that seems logical for money. Okay. How about negative 20 times 34/38? Negative what? Say that again. I didn't hear you. 17. Thank you, Hannah. 1789. And we can tell right away why this works for the casino.
Yep.
That's positive, that's negative, and that is more negative than that is positive. That's why the casino likes it. That's why the casino likes it. So now we add these, right? Expected value. Add them together. Let's see if I can do this in my head. 5, 1, 15 up here. 3, negative 315? Did I get that right? Did I do that right? Thank you, Alyssa. Appreciate you checking my math. There goes my quiet. I'm like, shit, I did it wrong. That's the Catholic guilt creeping in. Plus I'm 1/12 Canadian, or 1/8 Canadian, 12% Canadian. So I'm sorry. Jackie knows. She's all Canadian. That's how much you're gonna lose. Whoa! I didn't ask you to interpret it, did I, on the warm-up? What does that mean? That's expected value. Awesome. That's exactly what it is. It's expected value. Can you tell me in without using the phrase expected value what it means? I should have put this on the warm, but I didn't. I forgot
It
to.
implies that you lose $3.15 per bet on Chris.
Everything right there. It implies that you lose $3.15 on average per $20 bet on a corner. That's perfect. Perfectly said. Because you can't say anything but anything. I can just repeat it and bask in the amazing balls of it. Yes. Did anybody try the extra credit? It's okay. You don't have to.
Can we talk about it? I'm
Sure.
I'm curious.
So has anybody ever been to a casino and seen one of those things? It's okay. It's totally fine. Esther, I don't upset you anymore. The casino already upset you enough. I don't upset you anymore. So at casinos, they have these little screens behind the, and it's only at the roulette wheel, which is fascinating to me. It's only on the roulette wheel. So they put this screen behind the roulette wheel, and then they show you what happens on the last leg. Hello, Ryan. They show you what happens on the last few rolls. So on this one here, it looks like we saw let's see, a 13, a 23, a 12, a 25, two 22s, a 12, a 28, blah, 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 blah. Why do you think they're showing you that?
Sorry.
That's okay. Why are they showing you that? Why do you think they're showing you that behind you?
Bet more on that one.
Because it looks pretty.
Because it looks pretty.
Well, that actually is one of my favorite casino stories. Max was probably, God, 4 or 5 years old, and we were staying somewhere. I completely forget where this was, out of town, at a hotel that had a casino attached to it. So it was probably like Reno or something like that. And the only restaurant in the hotel was attached to the casino, and so we had to walk through the casino to get to the restaurant. And I remember saying, I'm like, he's 5, and they're like, just stay on the green carpet, sir. I'm like, okay. So I put him on my shoulders and I'd walk through the casino with Max. And I remember Jen looking up at him while we're walking through that first day, and she's like, you should see his eyes. Because everything was like, bing, boom, bing, boom, bing, like and all these noises and bells. So that's part of the appeal, is they draw you in with that like circus feeling. So yeah, it is pretty.
It's pretty.
Any other reasons besides just pure prettiness? Anybody? This is, you gotta think like a gambler, which is a little bit tricky. Jordan, what do you got?
If you bet on that one number, you're probably gonna lose.
See, so they're showing you, for example, that 22 happened twice there, it looks like. So a gambler might go, shit, 22 is less likely to show up again because I just saw it twice. What do you feel about that logic? What do you think about that logic, Hannah?
It's just as likely to get 22 as it is to get any other number because it's a 1 out of 38 chance.
Every time they spin that wheel, there's a 1 out of 38 chance the ball is going to fall in one of those pockets. Doesn't matter if you just saw 2 22s. On the next spin, 22 is just as likely as 21. It's just as likely as 23. Roulette wheels, for some reason, bring the conspiracy theorists out. They bring out the people that I can fix roulette. No, you can't actually fix roulette. Roulette, if you could fix roulette, it wouldn't be in a casino. If it could be fixed, they wouldn't use it. They use it because it's a guaranteed moneymaker for the casino. Oh, it's out of balance. No, trust me, they have mechanics working on these things. Like literally mechanics that work on roulette wheels. They sell old ones down in Vegas. My wife and I go to Punk Rock Bowling every May down in Vegas. It's a great big punk rock festival. And we skateboard down the old strip to get to the venue. And there's all these old, like, I wish I could afford them. These old machines from the old casinos they sell at these like thrift stores for like gambling paraphernalia. And I remember walking in the last time we were there, and there was a roulette table, and I'm like, God, if I had the room to put that in the house, like a big one, like a big oak sides, like I spun it, it was like, it spun for like 5 minutes. This is friggin' awesome. But yeah, I mean, they wouldn't use something that was that expensive and that much of a pain in the ass to work on if it didn't make profit for them. So what Hannah said is spot on. Really, what a roulette wheel is, it's a 38-sided die. That's all it is. It's just like a die. If you rolled a 1 on a die, you wouldn't think that you couldn't roll a 1 next on that same die. It's just as likely as anything else. I mean, yes, it's surprising when you get a lot of them in a row. That's surprising. Who sent me an email recently about that? Was it somebody in this class said they were playing a dice game and they got a bunch of 5s or 6s in a row? Somebody sent me this. It wasn't any of y'all. That's okay. It was last week sometime. It happens. If you roll a die enough times, if you spin a roulette wheel enough times, you'll get 22 5 times in a row. You spin it enough times. But it's going to take millions and billions of spins to see that. Sure, when it happens, it's going to be like, but it doesn't mean the wheel is broken. It just means that the wheel is behaving randomly, which is something we're going to talk about in a couple weeks. It's a whole topic I have for a day in a couple weeks. I think week 6, like right around the exam. Cool. Thank you, Hannah, for that. That was very, very nice. That was a perfect explanation of why that thing behind the roulette wheel is only designed to keep you playing and to give you. It's kind of like when they put the flag in the hole on the golf course. It gives you that little bit of hope. Right? They put that little flag waving in the wind. It's like, oh, I can reach that. No, you can't. No, it's put the sandbox and the pond and all the other shit and the weird lumps on the green. You're not going to get to that hole. You're going to lose 5 balls on your way. Okay, good? Okay, so Esther had a request, no more gambling. Okay, no more gambling. I respect that. I respect that.
It's just a weird analogy,
What's that?
the gambling thing.
Well, you know, here's the thing though.
People that like have never seen it.
Of course, of course. Oh no, of course. But the gambling thing is also the insurance thing. I was going to use insurance again. And I was going to use insurance, I was going to look at Jen's, I was going to do something similar to what we did in class last time, but used my wife's instead. And then I was trying to do a 10-year plan versus a 1-year plan. And I could not get the numbers to work out. Like, I was getting positive expected values no matter what I did. So I sent an email on like Thursday when I was writing these things to the company. I'm like, hey, are you sure your rates are right? And I haven't heard back yet. So if they, I mean, I'm just curious because I'm like, if these rates will not cover a 49-year-old woman if they die in the next 10 years. Like, I'm being an actuary for them. I wish Haley was here, I'd give her a shout out. I was being their actuary for free. I guess it's kind of my job as a math teacher, but.
How's your M&Ms?
What's that? Yeah, exactly, they ignore those every time too. Alyssa, stapling dedicated to you. Unfortunately, I stapled them wrong the first time, so some of them have little chewed up ears because I had to rip them apart and restaple them. A lot of termite, most of the time. Okay. Chickens, we got passwords, we got pumpkins, we've got, oh yeah, chickens, baby. Chickens, baby. Oh, baby. Who keeps chickens in bed? Anybody? Has anybody ever kept chickens? We've had this discussion, haven't we? We've talked about this before, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. So, what we got? And I was trying to figure out a way to start this project. Can I keep going, projects? Do you have enough copies? Okay, good.
You only need one? Oh.
Oh, everybody.
Everybody gets one. Yeah, everybody gets one. I shouldn't be in a group project. Oh well, next time. Oh, the offering pile? Yeah. So, everybody read, this was literally in Central Oregon Rancid Raids last week. I was agonizing over how to start this project and it showed up and I'm like, well, there it is. So go ahead and read that.
This is not chicken.
From Adriana Whitehurst. Ariana, thank you. Sorry, I can't read. Oh, maybe. Maybe that's her code name. I need some coffee.
I never understand how people have time to do this.
Well,
I think it's like learning how they all fashion.
if you live next door to a rooster, you might.
I do, man. I live next to a peacock as well.
Oh, Jude doesn't know. I'll take my peacock story to break. I got a great peacock story. One of my favorites.
Domestic.
I can't wait to tell you about it.
Yeah, just like, you know how we just try the chickens.
So the peacock will sit on top of the
Yeah.
chicken. And just be like,
Give me a look up here when you finish reading Ariana's little rant.
Of course, it's a pet. It's like a.
Oh, did you just call a chicken a pet?
No.
Did you?
She said a goat is not a pet either.
God damn it, woman! It's a chicken.
There we go. It's a holy one now. It's we're in two factions. Barnyard animals and pets. Anyway, we'll come back to that too. And how I fought off the HOA for 12 years using that argument. But anyway, we'll come back. So anyway, Ariana seems to think this person went out and bought a rooster. Now, anybody that's ever kept chickens, who's kept chickens before?
Me.
Do you go out and try to buy roosters?
No.
Not usually. Because what do you want from your chickens generally? Eggs. So you don't want roosters. You want chickens. Like, that's the whole point. So when you go to the store, you buy what are known as sexed pullets. I think I put that in here somewhere. I'll just explain it to you now. A sexed pullet. Well, that's what a sext means that they decide. So first of all, they're day-old chicks. They're like this big. They're adorable. They're like little marshmallow peeps. And they sound just like that. As they're running around, they've got these huge Tupperwares in the ranch, and they're adorable.
Wilco,
And Wil-
chicken season is like.
Dude, Wilco at Chicken Seasons. My go-to store was High Desert Ranch and Home. Rest in peace. They're not there anymore. They were out on 4th Street. Remember that, Isabel? They were great. Joel, Judd, Jake, all the dudes that worked there had J first names. I love that. It was so random. And Joel was my boy. He's the guy I met the first day I walked in. So before I tell you about Joel, I want to tell you about our chickens and let you know that sometimes it randomly happens. A sexed pullet is a day-old chick that they identify as male or female based on a test that they do. And I've never had it explained to me how they do that. And clearly it doesn't work all the time, because we have had 12, over the course of 12 years, we had 12 chickens. Their names are down here in the footnote: Mary, Marge, Nancy, Bertha, Henrietta, Gertrude, Ethel, Hazel, Agnes, May, Henny, Penny, and Annie. Those were our 12 chickens through the years. Max named them all except for the first four. The first four named after our grandmothers. So Max picked out everything from Henrietta Wright were Max's names, which I love. Andy, spelled A-N-D-I-E. I love that so much as an 80s child. But of those 12, one grew into a rooster. It was May, and that's a picture of May with Max down there. That's right before we brought him down to a farm in LaPine, because we put a note on Craigslist. We said, we've got a rooster, we don't want to euthanize him, we don't want to make soup. And a rancher, or a rancher, I forget which, from LaPine sent us a note, was like, I'll take him. And we drove him down to LaPine, and Martin, we renamed him Martin, and he went running off to the farm in LaPine, and he was the sweetest. Most roosters are assholes. They'll beat the shit out of you. And, I mean, look at it, Max is hugging Martin. He was the sweetest rooster ever. He acted like a chicken. He sounded like a rooster. He had this big ass things on the back of it. What are they called? Stirrups? Not stirrups. What are they called?
Spurs.
Spurs. Thank you. I know it's close. Anyway, so we had a 92% chance of chickens. 11 out of our 12 were chickens. We shot a 92%. But I can't talk. James isn't here. I can't give him that. That isn't like the exact probability, right? That's just based on what we saw. 11 out of 12. What you got, Christina?
Well, I remember how I brought up those chickens with the.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff? I actually looked up the probability. It's a 50-50 chance of getting a rooster on that breed.
If they're sexed? Because what that sounds like to me is.
No, like when you're buying one, I looked it up online. It's 50-50 chance of getting a rooster when you pick baby chicks. Because
Do they sell them as sexed pullets? Because that's just the same as, you know, when kids like raise chicks at school?
When we went and bought
and
them,
they
they told
incubate
us
them?
that we had a really high chance of getting
A chicken.
A boy. No, because it's.
Where are you buying your chickens from? Stop going there.
Well, what I'm just saying is that particular breed,
Some kind of weird.
you can't tell.
Anybody got chickens? I don't know where you get. I want to chat about these at break. Is that cool?
Okay.
But we were not buying those. We were buying Americanas, Plymouth Bards, Delawares. How do you get Delaware? That's where I'm from. Orpingtons, Rhode Island Reds. Those were the breeds we were getting. So that one right there, I forget what May was, but our first four were a Delaware, Orpington, Americana, and a Plymouth Bard. Super pretty. I'll show you pictures of them later. And I talked to Joel, so I went in, and Max got to pick them. I'll show you right now, actually. I'll tell you the story while I turn the computer on. You go in, you pick these little things up. The different breeds look different as they are. Oh, I did log in. Good. And I talked to Joel because I didn't know what a pullet was. It said, you know, Orpington pullets, and it said Plymouth Bard pullets, and it kept saying pullet. I was like, I don't know what that means. And he said, oh, we sex them so that you're more likely to get a female. I'm like, oh, more likely or guaranteed? He's like, oh, nothing's guaranteed. He said, hang on. Nothing's guaranteed. He said there's only a 90% chance that you have a female. So here's Max with our first flock.
Hey, did you Bobby?
Oh my God. There we go. There's our girls. So now, let me back up one real quick. So that's, let me see if I remember their names. That's the Plymouth Bard. That was Bertha. Mary, the Delaware. God. And then these were Jen's grandmom's names.
Oh, jeez.
Nancy?
Nancy? No. Nancy? What's the other one? Shit.
Henrietta?
Don't tell my wife I forgot her name.
Henrietta.
Not Henrietta, the one before that.
Bertha?
Bertha. Mary. Nancy. God, what's her other grandmother's name? Don't tell her.
Oh my goodness.
Gertrude. What?
No, the first four names. Marge. The other one. Don't tell her.
Dear Sean's wife.
I'll be sleeping in the shed tonight. So, when you pick them up, that's what they look like. Here's Max getting them out of the, pulling them out of the, they come in like a Happy Meal box. See that thing up there? You see that little Happy Meal box? They put them in that box, you go to the counter, it costs like $6. And the food costs like $120. And you gotta buy a red light, because you have to put a red light on it, or otherwise they'll kill each other. You gotta keep them warm. They're super cute. I mean, look how adorable they are. You know, these are actually 1 day old. And so Joel said, well, there's only a 90% chance that they're female. And I looked at the box and I said, that means there's a 1 in 3 chance there's a rooster in here. And he goes, okay, young man. Call me young man. Nobody calls me that anymore. This was 15 years ago. I was like, okay, young man, you have to explain that to me. So that's what we're gonna do today, for starters, is we're gonna figure out where I got that 1/3 from, okay? But over the years, we've had a number of them. I love this picture. Max is now 17 years old Thursday. He was maybe 3 here, maybe 4. I don't even know how old he was at this point. But there's the 4 he's got them smuggled in. They were his pets. They were his pets. Like, they used to come to him across, they'd run across, he would come home, chickens! And they would run up to him and jump into his arms. So he grew up with chickens, which is one of my favorite things. There's the first 8 batches, and his favorite thing was, of course, was to go get their eggs. That's him getting the eggs out of the coop. So,
What a cute little baby.
I know, he's a sweetie pie. So there's the original 4,
He looks like his mom, right?
and oh God, thank God. Jesus, thank God, it looks like Jen.
Oh, whatever.
He's got my ADD and my appetite and my hair, that's about
I
it.
see you both in there.
Yeah, well, thank God I see Jen more. All right, now let's go through this. I gave you all a die. You see the die in front of you, my dear friends? How many sides does that die have? Look again. That's why I'm looking for the box. Where'd I put the box? Here it is. Anybody need a die? Some of y'all came a little bit. There we go. How many sides? How many sides? 10. And they're numbered 0 through 9 because that's the way the digits are. That's the way the digits are labeled. Why did I give you a 10-sided die, y'all?
Because we have 10 chances, 9 out of 10 chances to get a chicken.
Right, because going and buy. Who else needs a die? Anybody? Going and buying a chick is like rolling a 10-sided die, according to Joel. According to Joel. Now, we have to pick as a class which one of these is the rooster. Which number is the rooster, mother? You get to pick. 4 is the rooster. Now, nobody rolled yet. We got about 28 people in here today. 28 people. I count myself. Close to 30. That makes the math a little bit easier. All right? Close to 30 people. We're all gonna roll. How many roosters are you expecting? If we each roll 1 time, we're getting good. Count it. Count it. Emerson, it counts. What is it? Count. What is it?
2.
2. You got a chicken. Everybody roll their die. Hands up if you got a 4. Hands up if you got a 4. Oh shit, look at that. No 4s? We all got chickens. How cool is that?
Chickens.
We all got chickens. If you didn't get a 4, you got a chicken. Let's do it again. That's okay, we're gonna try it 4 times here. Hands up if you got a 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's our 3. There's our 3. Okay, we got a roosters. Okay, roll again. Hands up if you got a rooster. Uh-oh. Count it! What is it? I'm salivating.
It's a 9 or 6.
It's a 9 or 6. Either way, it's not a 4.
It's a 9.
1 more chick. We're rolling for Bertha. We're rolling for Bertha. Hands up if you got a 4.
6.
Hands up if you got a 4. Okay, we got a lot of chickens in that time. That was good. Hands up if you got a rooster within those 4 rolls. Interesting. So we actually got a little bit lucky on that one because I told Joel there's about a 1 in 3 chance you'd have a rooster somewhere within that 4. We only had about, what was that, about an 1/8 chance. That was much lower than that. But of course, we also just only rolled a few, maybe 100 times total. So what I want to look at now is what happens if we repeat this experiment over and over and over again. So I want you to ponder question number 1 for a little bit, and then we're going to talk about it together. Question number 1 on the project. What's the chance of buying 2 pullets, both of which are sexed at 90% female? So in other words, 90% chance you're getting a girl. So you got 2 of them. What's the chance they're both female? Talk to each other. Talk to each other. What's the chance they're both female if they've been sexed at 90%? So it's basically like, Flip, you need a project. My God, who else needs a project? That's the problem with pullets. You could be raising a rooster for months before they go, or whatever the hell noise they make. I don't know what the hell that was. I'm sorry, Kenny. Clear my throat. That face you make was precious. Like, I tried to warn you. You had 2 weeks to drop this class. You need donuts?
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot. Get your money back in there.
Chicken is its own independent experiment.
Oh, use 90, not 92. Yeah, sorry, use 90, 92 was my family's, your math is perfect.
Okay, thank you.
The 92% was just my family's, what happened with us. Let's use Joel's 90%, because that's the number I keep hearing as I talk to more and more chicken people. People know chickens. I used to be a chicken person.
Nope, you don't have them?
No.
Probability of each.
I finally lost my battle with the HOA after 12 years, and I got tired of fighting. So. No, we relocated all of them to my buddy's farm. He raises, this is where the peacock story comes in. They raise sheep. He's a large animal vet in Tumalo. His property is, he got camels. It's so freaking cool, Ken. You go over there, you don't know what he's gonna have. He's a large animal veterinarian, so he rehabilitates big animals. And he's got the peacocks coming in. But anyway, now that was 5 years ago. I'm not sure if they're still alive. The oldest chicken we had was Bertha, that black and white one. She lived to be over 8 years old, which is pretty long for a chicken. Not usually. Well, because we don't really, like, we're not like a Frank Purdue operation, we're keeping a box all. They came out and ran around our yard all day, every day. Are you judging Bertha? I think you're judging Bertha. And I'm gonna let it go because your hair looks fabulous today. I'm gonna let it go today because that hair is amazing. All right, you badasses. What is the chance they're both female? I hear 90%.
81%.
I hear 81%. I hear high. High? Oh, high. High. I'm like, high. Okay, high. There's a good chance they're both going to be female. Okay, I like that issue too. Okay, if you're having a hard time with it, that's fine. We're going to throw back a little bit here. But that's what I'm saying. So we're going to break this down to theoretical probabilities before we get back to experimental. So let's think about this. If you buy a pullet, remember I gave you the 10-sided die? Buying a pullet and getting a chicken is the same thing as rolling this die and not getting 4, correct? If you roll this die, how many possible things can happen? How many possible things can happen? 10, right? 10 things can happen. So
Would it be 50?
it's not, oh God, no.
No.
It's not even 50-50 for a while. Number of ways to get a roll on a 10-sided die. We're gonna do it this way. Number of ways to get it, I don't know, I said that kind of weird, I apologize, that's a weird way to say that, but 10. How about 2 dice? How many ways can you roll 2 dice? Well, if the first one can fall 10 ways and the second one can fall 10 ways, say that again. 100 ways, Hannah Grant, thank you. So that's gonna be 10 squared or 100 ways. Okay, keep that in mind. That's gonna be the denominator of our probability fraction. Fair? Hopefully that's fair. Okay, now, how can we get chicken? So that's the number of ways to get a roll. How about number of ways to get a chicken on a 10-sided die? And I know we were using 4. We were using 4 as the rooster number, but we could have used any one of the numbers. So how many ways out of that 10 are chickens? 9. Thanks, Scotty. 9. So, how about with 2 dice? You want to get 2 chickens. 2 dice or 2 chickens. Well, there's 9 ways to get it on the first die, right? And how many ways on the second die? 9 again. So you're going to go 9 squared, to use Hannah's little exponent again, or 81. 81 ways to get chickens on those 2 dice. Fair? So now, that's the total number of ways to get chickens. That's the total number of ways we can roll. The probability is going to be the ratio of those 2 things. So number 1, the chance of getting 2 chickens when you buy chicks with 9% likelihood is 81%.
And the 9 comes from the 90% statistic.
The 90%, exactly. Because 9 out of the 10 is 90%. I'm going to come back to that in a second, Mel. I love that question. Thank you. Now, I know what Ryan's thinking. She's like, if you think I'm doing this every friggin' time, you're on your goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Good. I appreciate that. because we're not gonna do it every goddamn time.
No.
We're gonna come up with a shortcut, which is actually not a shortcut, it's just this streamline. Of course. Hopefully, Haley can see what we're doing up here. Yeah, we got that pretty good. We're gonna reuse something today we haven't used in about a week or so. We learned it about a week ago, but we haven't used it since. I think Hill used it when you got your 81%. I'm pretty sure you did. But in case you forgot that, I'm gonna swing. Oh, I can't do that. I gotta keep the friggin' camera up here. FERPA.
You need my phone?
No, actually, I can erase the middle board and just use the middle board. This is good because we're not doing the warm-up anymore. Okay. We're gonna use.
Yes.
There we go. That's a better eraser. We're gonna use.
So would you write that as 81%?
Oh, God, fire. Pine fire.
Oh, good. All evacuations for the Pine Fire have been lifted.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Thank you. It's good news. It's good news. It's okay. I was thinking last night. No, hang on. Come back with me. What we're gonna use is we're gonna use the multiplication idea that we learned about a week ago. We can multiply probabilities if you have multiple things happening. So, for example, this is called the. Let's get as little wordy as we can possibly get here. Yeah, I'm gonna try to because I didn't give you enough space to write it down. So I'm just gonna give you the shortcut. There's no need to have the words. What's the chance of getting two chickens? Well, that's the chance of getting the first chicken and then getting the second chicken. And I wrote that really big because in probability, the word and means to multiply. It means to multiply. So you're gonna see this over and over again today. Multiply, multiply, multiply. So, everybody, what's the chance that you get a chicken on the first pull? That's a 0.9. What's the chance you get a chicken on the second pull? Once again, 0.9. So the chance you get them both is 0.9 times 0.9, which is 81%. Now, I want you to see why that makes sense. 0.81 if you like decimals better. It's the same math we just did over there, just broken out differently. 0.9 is 9 out of 10. I'm going to write a little bit more. You don't have to write this a little bit more. 0.9 is 9 out of 10. That 0.9 is also 9 out of 10. And then we multiply them. Well, if you're multiplying fractions, remember this from Math 98, multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. So it's 9 times 9 over 10 times 10. Well, isn't that what we did over there? It's the same thing. You're doing the same thing, it's just more compact, and you don't have to break it out like that every time. Just take the individual probabilities and multiply them together. That's a good thing. You're gonna see it over and over again. We saw it last week. We probably forgot it from last week. That's okay. That's why we're doing it now. All right, you badasses. Why does it make sense? That's okay. Why? I dropped a stapler on my toe a couple nights ago and it bled for like half an hour. I thought I was going to bleed out. A stapler on my toe. I had a little nightmare right there. I dropped my phone in my foot. Why does it make sense that the probability goes down with 2 chicks from 1 chick? Because you now have more chancers to get chancers. You now have more chances to get a rooster somewhere. There's a lot of ways to get a rooster somewhere. When you have 1 chick, there's just one way. There's just one way. But when you've got 2, can anybody come up with a number based on that 81%?
72.
There's actually 19 ways out of the 100 to get a rooster. Think about it. Think about it. There's 100 ways. There's 100 things that can happen, right? There's 100 things that can happen. 81 of them are all girls. Does that make sense? If 81 of them are all girls, the other 19 have to have a boy somewhere, including the one case where they're both boys. 2 roosters. You can get 2 roosters, right? Oh, I didn't ask this on the lab. What is the chance of getting both roosters? What's the chance you buy 2 pullets and they're both roosters?
It would be 10.
It would not. Because what's the chance of a rooster? 10%. The chance of a rooster is 10%, right? So it would be 10% times 10%, which is 1%. It's where the math is getting weird because it's decimals. 0.1 times points. You have a 1% chance of getting all roosters. You got an 81% chance of getting all girls. That means everything that's left, what is that, 18%? You're gonna have a rooster somewhere. A rooster and a girl. Girl and a boy and a girl. Oh, fun math. We don't need all that. We're not focusing on that. We're just focusing on this for now. You all try questions number 2 and 3 based on what we just learned. No, you.
I'm so proud of you. You're killing it, like you always do. It's good to watch.
Is it though?
So energizing. I don't even need to take it off.
If you've got enough research and accepted it.
Do number 2 and 3. Let's go by 3 pullets and let's buy 4 pullets. What's the chance for each of those cases? They're all girls.
So then it would just be 9,
Add another one. It's the same thing.
That's the way. That's the way. Just keep multiplying. First one's a girl, and the second one's a girl, and the yeah, girl. That was sexual, but I didn't mean it to be punny. And then how about 4? You got it, woman. Talk to me. Dude, I just told her last week. Whenever I get a hit, dude, it's art, dude. It is friggin' art. It really is, dude. Hill I am. It is artwork, dude. That printing is off. Dude, it's seriously. And she doesn't even do it. Like you write it fast. I'm like, damn. You know what we should do? We should make your handwriting into a font. That's what we should do.
I know. You should do like wedding signs.
Oh man, dude, seriously.
I'm just my calling as a teacher.
I
You know what I mean?
I just gotta tell you what to write, you write it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You so.
It really is beautiful, Hill.
Yeah, okay, you just take the 9, or you can make the 3.
Okay, so number 1 was 0.9. Is anybody using exponents or are we just writing everything out?
I'm writing everything.
That's cool, let's do that for a while.
And then you get 75%. I just did it.
So there's 9, 9.
Oh, I like what I'm hearing over there.
This is 10.
Scotty, thank you.
9 of them are gonna be girls. So that's what this is about.
I got like
I love this team table. See, now we're back to team table. I love this. Now we're back to communicating with each other. God, such a good idea to come back up here. I'm just glad it opened up. Whoever it wasn't open being determined. And then when I went to check. Exactly. Nothing stays the same on chain. Dig around, running chains. Dude, I like where you're headed.
Yeah.
All right, my dear friends.
Yeah, so you do.
What is the chance we get 3 chickens, excuse me, 3 chickens?
That's 73%.
Ooh, I hear 73%. Can you give me the math behind it?
Yes.
Thank you, Joe's, go.
Chance. And then you times.
Go ahead, if you want.
Oh,
Was that you? Oh, it was Natalie that said yes. Sorry, Natalie, go.
What?
I thought it was Josie that said yes. Natalie, how'd you get 73%?
So 0.9 times
Thank you.
0.9 times
I-
0.9.
Yeah, it's the same
How
pattern.
is it processing?
Because it's okay. In order to get 3 girls, you have to start by getting 2 girls. So it's going to start the same as the previous one, and then get a little bit harder to get that 3rd girl, isn't it? Little bit harder. So that's going to be about 73%, right? 72.9, I think is what y'all were saying. Awesome. Awesome. It went down again. Because I think Josie said it, every time you roll, it's a chance, right? Every time you roll, it's a chance of getting that boy. So it gets harder and harder. And then what the Rule family did was, we bought 4. Why do we buy 4? Not mathematically related at all. Bend City Code says you're allowed to have up to 4 chickens on a certain size lot. So we said, let's just get 4. We'll just get 4 and see what happens. So here we go.
0.9 times. 4 times, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
66%. Which is 66%. Rounded. It's
66% rounded.
Yeah.
I love it. Who got 60? Yeah, 66% rounded. Thank you, Christania.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite question is number 4 of these first batches. What's the chance at least one of them's a rooster.
34.
Where did that come from?
You take,
That's a slash.
66 from the 100,
The
that's
remaining.
34.
The remaining probability. See, here's where it gets fun. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Hill. This is a chance they're all girls. The opposite of all girls is what? Be careful with this. What's the opposite of all girls?
Oh boy.
Not all boys.
No, a boy. Put
A boy somewhere. See, the opposite of all boy, there's a lot of options for 4 chicks. You could have all girls. You could have 3 girls and a boy. You could have 2 girls and 2 boys. You could have 1 girl and 3 boys. Or you could have all boys. So the opposite of all girls is all 4 of those other situations, which are absolutely a pain in the ass. You actually figured it out on your homework a couple days ago. Remember the binomial? It's the binomial, but we don't need to figure that out. Because the opposite of all girls is at least 1 boy. So for number 4, you can just take 1, which stands for 100%, and do like you did in your head. Subtract that 0.66 and get that 34%. That is the chance there's a boy in there somewhere. And that's the math I did quickly in my head talking to Joel. And we sat down and kind of went through this, and he was like, that's friggin' fascinating. And then he went even further. He said, so if you keep buying pullets, there becomes a higher and higher chance of a rooster. And then he sat back, he's like, duh, of course. Because 90% means 9 out of 10. So you can average out of every 10, there's a boy mixed in with the other 9 girls. And then he had this like epiphany, and I'm like, see, math education at High Desert Ranch at home. I love that. Never takes a day off. Are we buying this?
Yeah.
Questions, comments? Give me questions, give me comments, give me concerns.
Alright.
Okay. Now, this guy used to work here named Mike Smith. He's been gone for a few years. I don't think you might know him around town. He's a great dude. Loud as hell.
Oh, we don't.
Not quite as loud as me. He's okay. One day, he heard me giving, I use this chicken example in a lot of different classes. I used to use it in 243, but they took that math out of 243 and put it in 105. I'm like, sweet, I'm doing 105 now. I had to kind of restructure it. One day, I was teaching 243, this like 15 years ago, down in the library. Actually, in the basement of the library where it used to be, down in the goldfish rooms down there. And Mike Smith had his office down there, and he heard me talking about this, and he walked in, he's like, I think that's bullshit. And I'm like, okay. He said, I just bought 7 chicks, and I got a rooster. I think your numbers are off. I said, okay. I said, Mike, have a seat. And I made him do math with us. I'm gonna make you do math right now. You ready for this? My buddy Mike Smith bought 7 sex pullets. This is number 5. 7 sex pullets. What's the chance he got all, what is the chance that he would have gotten all females? He got a rooster, ignore that for a second. Ignore that he got a rooster for a second. Because he's trying to get chicks, he's trying to get hens, he's trying to get eggs. What's the chance if he bought 7 pullets that they were all female? Work it right now with your table. Oh, huh. It's closer to 48. Yeah, does that make sense? Yeah, John, keep stringing those 9s here. I think it's time to start those exponents too.
Yeah, I've just been doing that.
Just about, huh?
Exactly. A little less for the patient's capture.
Talk to your tables, talk to your tables. I want to hear some numbers here in a second.
I needed 47.
No, yeah, you can go precise if you want. Yes, the exponent. We've decided, yeah, I think pretty much everybody in here is using exponents now because he's putting all those 0.9s together gets to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. I agree, Jordan, I agree.
So I just kind of
You have to do the little up.
Give me a thumbs up when you got a number.
Pyramid.
Pyramid?
Pyramid.
Tiramisu? I hear what I hear, I'm so sorry.
I wish.
Me too. All right, what's the chance he would get all girls? About 48%, right?
Yes.
Because you just keep rolling that die, baby. You keep rolling that die. I saw Avery do this and I love it. She did 0.9 to the 7th power. Who did something similar? with the expo, I think it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because you got so many .9s now, let's make life easy for ourselves. So it's .9 to the 7th, but then it's being about 48%. Which means in number 6, what's the chance he gets at least one rooster?
48. I mean, sorry.
You got it, girl, you got it. The chance of at least one rooster is whatever's left. 1 minus that.
Which is 50%.
52%. So it's basically, if you buy that many chicks, it's basically a coin flip, isn't it? There's your coin flip. Keep buying chicks. Eventually you're gonna get a rooster. Who knows when? But the probability says long-term average, if you buy 7 pullets, it's a coin flip whether you get a rooster or not. And then he stormed out of class pissed off because it made sense that he got a rooster. He actually got 2 roosters in there. Now think about where all those roosters could be in a flock of 7 birds. You could have all girls. That's what you want, right? You could also have 1 rooster and 6 hens. You could have 2 roosters and 5 hens. You could have, I'm gonna stop right now. Because it's ridiculous to go through all those cases, isn't it? Because really there's only 2 things you're interested in. Getting all girls or not getting all girls. This is the idea of redundancy. We're gonna get more into that. That's the whole point of this project is it's called redundancy because you're looking at, well, we'll come back to that in a second. Number 7, here's the first one for points. Was Mike justified in being upset that he got roosters? Why or why not? Capture that thought in words. He was pissed. He bought 7 pullets and got some roosters. What do you think? Is he justified in being pissed?
Yes.
Give me your thoughts. Just so you know, any answer is fine here as long as you write and use those probabilities. The answer could be either yes or no. I know how I answered, and he didn't like my answer and stormed out of my room. But you put your thoughts. Why'd y'all get so quiet? Oh, okay. That's fair. We're reading. Shut up, Sean.
What, oh, my writing?
It's like a typewriter. It's like seriously, dude. The Hill Writer.